as chair of the Oversight Subcommittee of Ways and Means Committee, I am very interested in the IRS's operations. This pandemic and economic crisis has been brutally hard on a lot of our communities and constituents. We've heard some very, very good questions from both sides of the aisle today. There's still neighbors in our cities and towns without economic impact payments or the IRS refunds that could help make ends meet. So I'm pleased the commissioner is here to answer questions. It must be said that he's utterly ignored the Ways and Means Committee in the 116th Congress. Mr. Commissioner, how can the Congress and the American people be assured that the audits of the president's tax returns are being conducted in a fair and scrupulous way and without political interference? How can we be assured of that?
Sir, as you know, I cannot speak to specific matters as to any taxpayer as to whether or not issues perspective to a return, to an examination of a return, to what might be in the return, to what might be in the examination. Earlier, there was a reference with respect to a criminal investigation of an organization. That reference did not come from the Internal Revenue Service, and the information anywhere associated with that did not come from the Internal Revenue Service. I cannot confirm or deny that information. Every taxpayer in this country is assured a confidentiality and privacy with respect to their tax matters. So as you know, sir, I cannot, under 6103 and otherwise, I cannot speak to that.
I don't want to get into the debate about privacy. That was part of 6103 in the code. I understand that. Privacy is very critical to me. My record is my record. But the point of the matter is, it would seem that we put that aside when, under the investigation of Commissioner Lerner, I believe it was 10 taxpayers who belonged to certain organizations were made public without any apology because they found nothing wrong. So that answer is not acceptable. The recent revelations of the president's lifetime of tax abuse and malfeasance threatens public confidence in the IRS. I'm talking about the very legitimacy of our federal tax system. I'm not sure you understand or appreciate that, sir. To begin to restore this trust, you must fulfill the Ways and Means Committee's legally binding request for the president's tax returns, his business and personal tax returns under 6103F. You have been illegally withholding them for the last 500 and today 470 days, 547 days. Will you lawfully fulfill Chairman Neal's request?
Sir, as you know, that issue is pending litigation, and it's not appropriate for me to discuss pending litigation, and we have made the committees aware of that.
Mr. Reddick, you admitted in a recent report that the IRS audits low-income taxpayers disproportionately over wealthy tax cheats because it's easier to pick on regular Americans. This is in part a funding issue, but this is also a leadership issue. Do you have an immediate plan to end this shameful disparity? I call it shameful.
That report is absolutely false. Let me repeat it for people who didn't hear it the first time. Absolutely false. For taxpayers who have more than $10 million in total positive income per year, we audit at the rate of 8.16%. For the EITC community, we audit at the rate of 1.129%. Those facts are in our data book that was issued for fiscal year 2019. So the earned income rate is 1.1%. Taxpayers over 10 million, it is 8.16%. Taxpayers over 5 million, it's about 4 point something percent. And taxpayers between 1 and 5 million, it's something on the order of about 3%. So those numbers are disparate. The issue with respect to the earned income tax is there's a $17 billion improper payment associated with that per year, that the IRS does all it can do to get those payments out to the individuals as rapidly as possible. 98% of the EITC payments are issued within 21 days. 2% get pulled for issues with respect to the fraud filters and ID theft and other issues that require a manual look by a person, and we process those in a priority fashion. So anybody who is going to assert that the Internal Revenue Service is in any way insensitive to any lower income, ethnic community, geographically diverse community, rural community is absolutely wrong, and that should never come up. Those comments taint the hard